You think you're poor because you have nothing. Let me stop you right there. What if I told you that being poor has nothing to do with money? That your poverty isn't measured by your bank account, but by the prison of your mind? Because that's the truth they never wanted you to hear. You're not poor because you have nothing. You're poor because you think like a slave. The world doesn't pity the powerless. The world feeds on them. And they've been feeding on you for as long as you've allowed it. You've been conditioned to believe that poverty is simply a matter of not having enough. But let me tell you something. Poverty is a state of mind. A mindset so deeply ingrained in the fabric of your being that it's invisible to most people. You don't even see it anymore. It has become your reality, but it wasn't always like that. This wasn't your natural state. It was programmed into you. From the day you were born, society began to inject you with this virus, and now your mind is its hostage. When you accept the idea that you're poor, you accept defeat. And when you accept defeat, you're mentally enslaved. You stop fighting for the life you want because you've already convinced yourself that this is all you can have. That is the greatest deception. But here's the thing they'll never tell you. You can be broke and still be powerful. It has nothing to do with your bank account. It has everything to do with your ability to control yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions to the world around you. Look around you. The world rewards obedience, not power. Society rewards compliance and punishes rebellion. They want you to stay quiet, to stay humble, to be grateful for the crumbs they throw your way. They want you to beg for a better life instead of building one. But that's how they break you. They don't break you with chains. They break you with obedience. They break you with the belief that you can't rise above your circumstances, that you are powerless. They break you by making you think you're not allowed to want more, to be more, to dream bigger. Do you really think they want you to succeed? Do you really believe they want you to have power? They don't. They want you to be comfortable with mediocrity. They want you to accept that life is just about surviving. But that's not the life you were meant for. That's not why you were born. Power is not about wealth. It's about control. And control is the real battle. The battle isn't about how much money you have. The battle is about how much of your mind you control. It's about your ability to control your emotions, to control your time, and to control your energy. A man who controls himself controls everything. You see, kings don't become kings because they were born with gold in their pockets. Kings become kings because they know how to control the world around them. They don't just command armies or kingdoms. They command themselves. They understand that their mind is their greatest weapon, and they never let anyone or anything take it from them. They don't beg for sympathy or validation. They create their own reality. They take what they want because they believe they deserve it. But the man who believes he is small will forever remain small. The poor man will never rise because he worships his limitations. He convinces himself that he is destined for mediocrity. He tells himself that he can never be more than what he is right now. And that fear of failure, that fear of not being good enough, becomes his master. And that is the tragedy of the weak mind. The mind that has surrendered before the battle has even begun. Machiavelli understood this more than anyone. He knew that to rule, to lead, to take control, you must first conquer your mind. You must not be ruled by your desires, your fears, or your emotions. You must become emotionally impervious to the forces around you. Men are so simple and so subject to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived. What does this mean? It means that the world is full of people waiting to be controlled. They are waiting to be led. They are waiting to be told what to do, but you are not one of them. You don't wait for someone else to take control. You seize control for yourself. And that starts with mastering your mind. If you can control your thoughts, you can control your actions. If you can control your actions, you control your life. The mind is where the battle begins. Poverty begins as an infection in the mind. A virus that rewires your thoughts to obey, to settle, to accept mediocrity as your destiny. The moment you begin to believe that you can't, that you're not good enough, that you're powerless, you've already lost the fight. You've been infected by the virus, and it's now ruling your every decision. Society calls this humility. They call it being realistic. They call it knowing your place. But in reality, it's just psychological submission. It's your mind surrendering before you've even faced the enemy. That's why the poor man is always apologizing for wanting more. That's why he looks at power and convinces himself that it's evil. Why? Because deep down, he's afraid that he'll never have it, and that fear becomes his master. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can break free. You can choose to take control. You can choose to believe in yourself, even when the world tells you that you're not worthy. Machiavelli warned us, he who doesn't destroy the weak thoughts in his mind will be destroyed by them. The weak thoughts you let rule your mind will destroy your potential. Every time you tell yourself, I can't. Every time you envy others instead of strategizing your own path. Every time you feed that virus of self-doubt, you give away the throne in your head to the forces of fear, comfort, and mediocrity. And the system thrives on this weakness. The system thrives on obedient workers who are too afraid to step outside the lines. But the moment you begin to question why you're living like a servant, they'll call you arrogant. They'll say you're too full of yourself. But the truth is, arrogance is not your enemy. Arrogance is the first spark of self-respect. The moment you refuse to bow to society's expectations, the moment you refuse to accept that you're destined for anything less than greatness, you begin to take control. This is where true power begins. Dark psychology teaches us that control always starts with perception. If you perceive yourself as small, the world will treat you as small. If you perceive yourself as powerless, others will step in to dominate you. But if you perceive yourself as untouchable, the world will treat you as untouchable. The rich can lose everything and still rise again. Why? Because their mind never learned submission. Their minds were never infected with the virus of limitation. The poor, on the other hand, could win the lottery and still think like victims. They would waste their fortune trying to look rich instead of learning how to stay powerful. It's never about money. It's about mindset. You see, when your mind is programmed to depend on others for validation, you've already lost. You've given away your power. Every time you seek recognition, every time you crave approval from others, you've just handed them the keys to your mind. And once they have those keys, they will use them to control you. That's the poor man's trap. The greatest poverty isn't financial. It's emotional dependence. It's the need to be seen, to be understood, to be accepted. But that's not power. That's weakness disguised as connection. People aren't kind. They're calculating. They're always reading you, analyzing you, trying to figure out if you're weak or if you're a threat. And the moment they sense that you need them, the moment they sense that you need their approval, they'll exploit that weakness. This is how the world works. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your struggles. The world only cares about strength. The strong don't beg for validation. They don't apologize for existing. They command respect, not because they demand it, but because their presence forces it. The weak are constantly trying to explain themselves. They waste energy trying to justify their existence, trying to make others understand their pain, their fears, their ambitions. But the powerful understand something fundamental. Silence is sharper than speech. Silence creates doubt, and doubt is your weapon. The more you explain yourself, the more you validate others' power over you. The more you seek to be understood, the more you make yourself vulnerable. But the person who doesn't explain, who doesn't feel the need to share every detail of their life, they become an enigma. They are respected because no one can read them. They keep their power in their mystery. This is where Machiavelli's wisdom comes into play. It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose. Fear is power. Fear makes people respect you. Fear forces them to act with caution around you. When you make yourself unreadable, when you stop showing your cards to the world, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability is the greatest weapon of all. Think about the most powerful people in history: the emperors, the generals, the kings. None of them achieved greatness by constantly justifying their actions, by begging for approval. They acted with certainty. They stood firm, even in the face of overwhelming odds. They were never afraid to be misunderstood. In fact, they understood that misunderstanding is a sign of dominance. When people can't figure you out, they start to fear you. And when they fear you, they stop trying to control you. When you need nothing, you control everything. This is where detachment becomes your most powerful tool. Detachment is not coldness. It's not heartlessness. Detachment is control. When you stop needing the approval of others, when you stop seeking external validation, you become untouchable. Nothing can move you. When you no longer hunger for acceptance, people will begin to offer it to you, and you won't need it. That's power. Now imagine this. You walk into a room full of people. You're not speaking yet. You haven't made a single move. But they all feel your presence. They feel the power radiating from you. They can sense that you're different. You don't need anyone's permission to be in that room. You don't need anyone's approval to take your place. You know that you belong, and that belief is unshakable. And because of that, others can feel it. They can't pinpoint what makes you different, but they know that you're not like the others. That's the power of composure. That's the power of self-mastery. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how many people know your name, or how many trophies you've collected. What matters is your ability to control yourself, your thoughts, your emotions. Because when you do, you begin to control the world around you. The powerful don't need to prove anything. They just exist, and the world adjusts to them. Let's talk about how to perform power. Because yes, power is a performance. The world doesn't reward honesty. It rewards dominance. You can be as honest as you want, but that won't get you what you want. The world doesn't care about your intentions, your truth, your pain. It only cares about how you present yourself. And if you present yourself with weakness, you invite predators. You invite others to take from you, to exploit you. Think about the richest people in the world. Do they look desperate? Do they beg for attention? No. They perform strength. They perform confidence. They perform power. And when they do, the world bows to them. Because the world doesn't see what's real. It sees what's presented. And if you can present yourself as untouchable, you become untouchable. This is the essence of Machiavellian power. Make them believe you're invincible, and they will treat you as such. Appear confident, appear calm, appear in control, even when you're not. Appear stronger than your opponents, even when you're bleeding inside. Because when you wear confidence like armor, no one can break you. People will waste their energy trying to attack your surface while you're quietly rebuilding behind it. That's how you win. You don't need to show your wounds. You don't need to tell anyone that you're hurting. Because the moment you do, you've lost the game. When you're open about your vulnerabilities, when you wear your pain on your sleeve, You make yourself a target. You make yourself predictable, and the moment you become predictable, you lose the ability to control. Because people can read you. They know how to break you. But if you can stand still while others tremble, if you can remain calm while chaos erupts around you, you gain control. You gain the respect of others. People fear what they can't decode. They fear what they can't understand. And when you remain calm in the storm, when you remain composed when everyone else is running, you become the epicenter of power. You see, the poor man is always reacting. He's always defending, always explaining himself, always chasing after validation. But the powerful man doesn't need to explain anything. He doesn't need to defend himself. He just exists, and the world adapts to him. The world doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the quiet strength. It rewards the one who stands still while others fall apart. And once you master the art of standing still, of controlling your emotions, your reactions, and your energy, you will control everything. Now let's talk about the real secret to power: detachment. If you can master detachment, you will become a force that nobody can control. Detachment is the ability to need nothing, not approval, not affection, not success. When you stop needing something, that's when you start owning everything. Think about it. The world is built on dependency. Everything around you is designed to make you crave something: money, love, success. Advertisements, relationships, even social media, they all thrive on your desire for something. But once you realize that you don't need any of it, that's when you become dangerous. When you can walk into a room and not care what anyone thinks about you, when you don't need anyone's validation to feel worthy, you become untouchable. Nothing owns you. When you need nothing, no one can use you. And that's the core of real power. Because when you stop chasing things, when you stop needing anything, people begin to chase you. And the moment they do, you gain control over them. The moment they start craving your attention, your approval, you hold all the cards. This is what separates the kings from the slaves. Kings rule by detachment, by making others chase them. The slave is always chasing, always trying to prove his worth. The king doesn't need to prove anything. He simply is. He's at the top, and everyone else works to reach his level. But here's the key. The detached man isn't cold. He isn't heartless. He simply knows that his worth is intrinsic. He doesn't give his energy to anything or anyone that doesn't deserve it. He understands that emotions are a currency, and if you waste them on the wrong things, you'll lose. The king understands this, and that's why he doesn't get emotional over petty things. He doesn't respond to insults or praise, delays, or betrayals, because none of that matters. What matters is that he stays focused. He stays calm. He stays in control. And that control is what makes him so dangerous. The moment you stop needing anything, whether it's money, success, or approval, you become unpredictable. And that unpredictability is pure power. People fear what they can't predict. When you can remain calm in the face of chaos, when you can sit still while everyone else is scrambling, you become the epicenter of control. You begin to shape the world around you. But here's the real truth about detachment. It's not about being indifferent. It's not about shutting down your emotions. It's about choosing your emotions. It's about selecting the emotions that will serve you and rejecting the ones that will destroy you. It's about taking control over your feelings instead of letting your feelings take control over you. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They act out of anger, fear, jealousy, or desire. Their impulses drive them, and that is the real prison, being ruled by your emotions. But the man who can master his emotions, who can detach himself from the need to react to every little stimulus, is the man who controls everything. Look at the most powerful men in history. They didn't react. They responded, and they responded with precision. They didn't let their emotions rule them. They ruled their emotions. That's how they achieved greatness. That's how they built empires. That's how you build your own empire. Now let's talk about something most people don't like to hear: pain. Yes, pain is your ally. Pain is not a curse. It's not something you run from. It's something you use. The most powerful men in history didn't fear pain. They embraced it. They turned every wound, every loss, every betrayal into fuel for their rise. Machiavelli himself understood this better than anyone. He said, "Never waste the opportunity offered by a good crisis." Pain exposes the truth. It removes the masks. It strips you of all your illusions and shows you who's really in control. Pain shows you where your weaknesses are. It shows you where your limits are. And that's your advantage. Because the moment you understand your weaknesses, the moment you understand where you're vulnerable, you can turn those vulnerabilities into strengths. Pain is a teacher. It's not something you shy away from. It's not something you let break you. Pain hardens you. Every scar you carry is a reminder that you've survived. Every wound is a lesson, teaching you how to rise even when you're beaten down. The man who knows how to smile through his pain, the man who can remain calm while the world falls apart around him, that's the man who controls his destiny. The weak fear pain. They avoid it. They complain about it. They try to escape it. But the powerful welcome pain. They don't shy away from suffering. They use it to sharpen their instincts. They use it to strengthen their boundaries. Every rejection, every failure, every betrayal becomes a stepping stone for them to rise even higher. Look at the greatest leaders in history. They were shaped by their struggles. Nelson Mandela, for example, spent decades in prison. But did he let that break him? No. He used it. He turned his suffering into a tool of power. Abraham Lincoln, who faced so much rejection and failure in his life, didn't let that stop him. He used his pain to propel himself into greatness. And here's the thing about pain. It's only as powerful as you let it be. If you identify with your pain, if you let it define you, it will control you. But if you detach from it, if you observe it without letting it control your actions, it becomes your greatest strength. You become the master of your pain, and your pain becomes the foundation of your power. That's how you transform pain into power. That's how you turn suffering into strategy. Every wound you endure, every setback you face, it's all just training. It's all preparation for your rise to the top. Now let me ask you, what will you do when everything falls apart? When the world comes crashing down? When life gives you every reason to quit? How will you respond? Will you break? Will you surrender? Or will you rise? Will you use the chaos to build your power? Because here's the brutal truth. Life will test you. It will strip you down to your core. It will betray you, humiliate you, and demand that you prove who you are when you have nothing left. Most people will crumble under that pressure. They will fold, they will complain, and they will point fingers. But not you. You are not most people. The strongest men are forged in the flames of adversity. The greatest leaders, the ones who changed the course of history, they embraced suffering. They didn't shy away from hardship. They didn't complain about their struggles. They used them as fuel to rise higher, to build stronger, to dominate. They didn't wait for the world to change for them. They changed the world. You can do that too. Every challenge you face, every moment of pain, is an opportunity to build your throne. You don't need to wait for someone to give it to you. You take it. You step into your power, and you don't let anyone or anything tell you that you don't deserve it. Now I want you to picture your life a year from now. What will it look like if you take control of your mind today? What will it look like if you stop waiting for permission to be powerful and start acting like the king you were meant to be? This is your time. This is your chance to stop living as a victim and start living as the architect of your destiny. But you need to act now. You need to take that first step. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The moment is now. Here's the truth. The world is full of people waiting for someone else to hand them success. They're waiting for a miracle, for a chance, for someone to recognize their potential. But the people who rise, the people who win, are the ones who create their own opportunity. The kings of this world don't wait. They make their own fate, and you can too. So I'll leave you with this. Never think you're poor, even when you have nothing. Poverty is not a condition, it's a mindset. And today, you have the power to change that mindset forever. You have the power to take control of your life, to stop accepting mediocrity, and to start living as the powerful person you were born to be. Your mind is your wealth. Your power is in your hands, and the world is yours for the taking. Now, if this message resonated with you, if you understand that it's time to stop living like a servant and start living like a king, take action. Subscribe to Gaka Mindset. Join the movement. Start building your empire today, because your time has come. Don't wait. Claim your power. Own your fate.